But since we're on the verge of like woman empowerment, pussy power, did y'all see The Woman King over the weekend?
Yes.
Yep. Great movie.
I saw that shit on
amazing.
Saturday.
Shout
that
out to the homies.
I wouldn't say amazing, but it was good.
It was
Big
good.
shout out to the homies, man.
I thought it was. Did I say amazing?
Yeah,
I thought it was really good.
No.
You didn't say, man. I thought it was really
I
good.
thought it was good.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know what
I
you said.
enjoyed the
No, no,
storyline.
no.
I enjoyed the storyline.
The storyline was cool. It was.
Yeah.
Now,
It got
I'm
deeper
gonna
and
preface
deeper.
this by saying like, there's a lot of things that like my type A was like not feeling.
Okay, go ahead.
Like the whole tooth. The tooth being in there. I was like, so we don't know about, diseases, syphilis, and you know what I mean? Like, that was, okay, cool.
I'm like, yeah, you telling
me. She didn't feel that shit?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
telling me she ain't had no type of medical issues.
Yeah. Right.
Like growing up.
Since, that wouldn't have, it would have grew out of her body.
Right. I was like, and the thing looked infected. That looked like it was infected and it healed over. But that wasn't, I wasn't feeling that. But it was good.
It though.
Nah, she got a keloid. That was a keloid.
I respect
keloid.
If I had to let my baby
that was
go,
a weird. That was weird for me.
That was a weird part. I was just like, I don't get what. Okay.
I'm like, they could have just did the scar. Like I scarred her in a certain spot as a baby.
Yeah, and it was kind of fucked up that that's how she like found out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I didn't like that. I thought it was stupid.
I thought it was dumb as fuck, and I'm like,
she didn't need to be her daughter. She didn't need. We didn't.
I think.
Okay, I was trying to figure out. I think it made sense because it's like that's why she's so dope and so like relentless and never gave up and got better and better. Like it made sense. I understood it.
It would have been the only reason for her to go and raid the port. Because normally it's like,
good point.
Normally it's like, all right, we lose a few to save many. But she was like, this is
because they only lost.
They only lost 3, yeah, and they won the battle. So it's like lose a few to save many. That's normally how it go. But she was just like,
that's my daughter. Yeah, no, makes sense.
So she needed a reason.
They could have did a better way to reveal it then.
Maybe that's what it is. I feel like they could have been a better reveal. That shit was crazy.
It could have been like, I thought it was a good movie. I thought everything, like the way I liked how they had the young girl be like the audience surrogate. Like everything we experienced about that tribe was through her eyes, like for the first time. I liked how they did that.
Yeah,
and I like John Boyega.
Yeah, he played a good role.
Oh boy, killed it. He played the king.
I feel like it's a great lesson. It's a great lesson in things that I've been hearing a lot in different podcasts where it's like instead of like the men trying to lead or talking about women trying to lead, it's just like we should be building together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the fact that they really should be side by side instead of trying to fight for somebody to be leading the shit.
Yeah.
You know? I thought it was cool.
Even though his wife, the pretty one, she was trifling.
Oh my God, she was fucking aggravating.
I'm like,
she was beautiful as all ever, but she was
you ain't gonna be out here fighting. If you don't shut,
right?
Like, come on, fam.
You don't shut your ass up.
Oh my brother, she was aggravating.
She really
wanted. I was like, somebody put this bitch on a muzzle on her because it's like, and my thing is like, she be talking out of turn an awful lot.
She didn't even know what she was talking about.
Yeah, it was just like, girl, what? Like, I mean, and as like, I don't know. I guess every movie needs a her, but she was just aggravating. And I think it was more aggravating because it's like, girl, just kind of, the other wives are staying in their place. You should do the same.
She's living a good life,
Yeah.
She was.
I do feel like
I loved it when she put her in her place and she was like, hey, you're not really pressed about the national shit. You pressed about being up here and this fucking being sedity and shit. And it's like, stay in your place. Enjoy this, right?
We got this slave trade to worry about.
Yeah. When when she asked the ball, what's it like his counselor or whatever, the brother in the purple. But she was like, why did she speak privately with the king? And they was like,
and he read her.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Have you
read her to filth.
He was like, have you
been to war
for your king?
Right. She been sitting up there cute, right? Ain't never been to war.
Right? Looking looking all fine.
Yeah.
Like she was beautiful.
They all were.
See,
Honestly, they all were.
I love that they made her that beautiful. Because
I think her attitude and her behavior made me like
and that's why I like that they made her that pretty, because like usually it's like she's not that pretty, she's still a hater.
Yeah,
this chick was that fine, and like she was the biggest hater, and it made her less pretty.
Oh,
heavily less.
I forgot to respond to Jalen when he texted me this, but he went to go see the movie, and he sent me a text. He sent me a text that said, "Let me see if I can find this joke."
There was bad baby oil in this movie.
Hey, a lot of baby motherfucker.
Oil. All baby oil. They was lathered up. It looked like a porno.
Hey, no, it's giving you is your first. Yes, you're going to school and your mom's like, "Hey, you're not gonna be ashy," and she put half the jar of Vaseline on your face and any skin that's exposed.
Literally, the first thing I thought when I see it, I was like, "Damn, they use a lot of baby oil in this movie."
Them motherfuckers was glistening.
A lot of baby oil was used to make this movie.
Yeah, the budget went to baby oil.
I thought it was dope though. Especially
my favorite one was Lashana Lynch. Was the big one, the one with the eyebrows?
Hey, I was hot when Shorty was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, my biggest thing is they should have showed her break her arm or something, because her getting captured did not make no goddamn sense.
Didn't.
The way she was fucking these niggas.
She was going crazy on
one.
Yeah. It was random.
She got swole as fuck for this movie. Like, she was huge.
The training, Viola Davis said the training was crazy for this film. Like, she was really in that motherfucker for this.
You see Viola's shoulder?
Them shits, what are you talking about? Her back was deezed.
It was dope.
God. Them traps was huge.
I was like, yeah, she ain't.
I thought it was a good movie. I really enjoyed it.
It showed, well, you know, I mean, Jay, you're probably gonna talk about it more, but like there was a lot of niggas hating on it, but I feel like it still showed a lot of realistic parts of Africa, like especially with the men.
Yeah.
Like one of the first scenes was the man trying to sell his daughter to this nigga, and then the nigga just gonna slap her right in front of her.
Hey, okay, that bugged me out. I'm not gonna hold you.
That pissed me off.
Slap her and then was like, "You gonna respect?" And the fact, I was so proud of her that she was like, "Fuck that, no." Like you're gonna let him talk to me. But it made sense. He was adopted, and I think also like that's their culture, right? Like this is not a foreign made up thing. It's like you need to be married off. You need to like marry into
some Game of Thrones
shit.
Yeah,
and that's just wild.
Yeah.
It was crazy. The fact that he slapped her in the face in front of her father, and he didn't say whoa.
He got mad.
Was crazy.
And got mad at her. I was like, that's just backwards as fuck. There's no way.
So backwards. I was so mad. I was like, I want to kill that nigga.
Nah.
But I thought the movie was good overall, but there was a lot of controversy behind it. Like a lot of people were upset about it. A lot.
What was their main argument? Like, what was their main thing they were upset about?
There's a campaign to boycott the movie. So to give context, this movie is about the Dahomey Warriors, the women warriors, and apparently people did their research on this before the movie came out, and they kind of glossed over the slave trade stuff in the movie, because in the movie. They're like, oh, we gotta get out of this, and we're gonna start selling oil. Yeah. That was not true at all. They didn't get out the slave trade until the Europeans stopped buying slaves.
This episode is brought to you by the good people at No Clearance. All right, go to noclearancepod.com/shop. We have merchandise for you to wear. Please support the brand. Okay, we got our new clearance collection. All right, with the Defy the Trends, Be the Standard shirts, as well as the No Clearance shirt and the Superior No Clearance shirt with the dad hats. Dad hats are selling big. Okay. So please make sure you go to noclearancepod.com/shop. Buy you some merch to support the podcast so we can get bigger and better every week. Thank you. Back to the show.
Like they was in that shit. And like I think there was a statistic that came out that said like they were responsible for 1 in every 20 slaves sold to America.
You know,
and it was like a lot of black people were like, oh, I don't like this because of that.
See, this is my thing. Now I'm not taking away from that or anything like that, But I like to, fuck, I got the syndrome. I like to play devil's advocate. And I like to say that you gotta, look at this motherfucker. You gotta really think of the space these Africans are in, right? And I think the movie did shine a light on, it wasn't like this, it was easy to back up out of something like this, right? Where it was, you got people coming from Europe, where it's not like, yes, they're working with you, but it's almost on some shit like they're working with you, but you know, like one false move, you on a ship too, type shit. Do you know what I mean?
Here's the thing though. Before they were like selling slaves to Europeans, they was taking slaves themselves. God, and they didn't send any slaves from like Dahomey. Like if you were born and raised in Dahomey, they weren't selling you. They was only selling slaves like people from other tribes, and they were selling them, and they would take slaves themselves. Like the slave trade was what basically funded the Dahomey Empire for like 3 centuries. Like it was like, it's like you look at the history, it's bad. Like even Lupita Nyong'o, Lupita, my girl, she was supposed to be in the movie. She was supposed to play Lupita's daughter, Viola Davis's daughter in the movie.
Yeah.
And when she found out, when she got the role offered, she was excited. She did a little documentary to like learn about the tribe in this, and she found out that her ancestors were enslaved by the Dahomey Empire.
Hey.
And she no longer felt comfortable.
Yeah, fuck that. You took my people, we're good.
So that's one reason why people don't want to see the movie, but will want to boycott. The other reason is they think that they're whitewashing, like they're just glossing over the history of them in the slave trade and how vicious they actually were.
Last time I checked, while watching the movie, they literally talked about how they did sell, like they were part of the slave trade. So what are they saying?
They were, but in the movie, they made it seem like it was it was because of the circumstances, like how they wanted to make money, but they were enslaving Africans before the slave trade.
But slavery was always
like they were already slavery was always a thing though.
See,
I don't agree with any of this.
Slavery was a thing everywhere though.
Right.
Yeah, everywhere.
I think my thing is slavery was a thing everywhere, right? It looked different, but it was a concept that wasn't like foreign to other countries. Like they, in some capacity, did.
On top of that,
every country has
that. Now I don't know how long Dahomey was around, but this took place in 1832. Now, when did slavery start? When did slavery, like for Africa, when did we start coming over?
I don't know, but I'm trying to go
14,
back.
Around like
1700s,
15, right? Now you said 300 years.
16,
so 300.
Yeah, they did it from this. They did it. They was in the slave trade, like selling to Americans and the Europeans from the 17th century. No, from the 16th century to the 18th century.
16th century is what, 1500.
That's 3 centuries.
Yeah.
18th century is 1700, and this took place in 1832. So this took place near the end of it.
But this is all made up, though.
Tyler. I get it. I'm going by.
No, but he's trying to flow with it to like make sense of it.
This took place near the end. If that's what they're saying.
If we're basing it off the timeline,
yeah.
Did this movie take place in 1832?
It said 1832. Yeah, it said West Africa 1832.
Oh, it did. Yeah.
In the beginning.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. But yeah.
It's like people can do all the research they want, but you got to see the movie to actually have a say. So if you're going to research before you go see the movie and then, and then try to say some shit about it before you even see it, it's very hypocritical.
Yeah.
I don't think it's hypocritical.
It's
like
I
don't
agree
with this stance.
This is
book by the cover. It's judging the story about. It's a story about these people.
I think,
and it's like about these people. Why would you want to support a movie about?
But
these people?
this is a great job in recognizing that yes, we sold slaves. He even said my brother sold. Like the one dude said, my mama was sold into slavery, so I'm back to go see the homie. He said my brother was part of this, and I want to be part of a new era. So what like they literally talked about.
They didn't ignore the past.
And they literally talked about this shit. So I'm just like, what the fuck is we talking about?
This is my thing. I think people need to understand like it's cinema, and so you're always gonna have a critic. Like there's always gonna be somebody that don't fuck with it. Like, as much as we fuck with Black Panther, there's gonna be somebody that don't fuck with it, and they're gonna say like, "Oh, well, in the climax, it didn't." You know what I mean? Like, there's always gonna be a critic, and I think as long as the intention was to educate and get you, I think whoever created the movie is already winning because you got people researching, you got people looking into the shit. You wasn't looking into the shit before the film. So I think films are to trigger your thought, trigger your mind, trigger your thinking. And so the film is doing that. Now, it's doing that without you even watching it. So can you imagine the motherfuckers that are watching it that are like, hey, I kind of want to tune in a little more on this. I want to dig deeper. I think that's the point of films. Films are to invoke like thought process and thinking and questioning, right? You want niggas to question shit. You want niggas to ask why. But I do think you got motherfuckers who say shit just for the sake of saying something.
The fact that I just hate that people are like criticizing the movie before they even like I understand like saying, oh, I'm not gonna see it because of that. That's fine. If you find that out and that's why you don't want to watch it, I don't like the people who are saying like, oh, this movie's gonna be trash, and I haven't even seen it yet.
Made
like
a
it's
lot
a good
of money.
movie. It's a Hollywood movie.
How much bread did it
make?
make?
A lot of money.
Like 136 either million billion. It was a big number. Very impressive.
My argument against all this is like they can make movies about all these medieval knights and all these Vikings and fucking barbarians and gladiators. They kill all these Vikings. Literally, all they did was rape and pillage, and they make movies about Viking heroes.
Fucking pillage.
Knights would kill everybody. They would raid villages too. Like all these like
barbaric
white heroes. We go back in time and they fictionalize their history. The biggest show on TV is Game of Thrones and House of Thrones, and it's a fictionalized version of shit that happened in the medieval times. So like we can still tell stories about warriors of our past and our history and fictionalize it in a way that we like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we get it. They was in the slave trade. Yeah, they sold all the slaves, blah, blah, blah. But, like, that's not the point. We're talking about the warriors themselves and, like making a story, a fictionalized version of those warriors.
And about, like, who else? Where I don't know anywhere else there was a woman king. Like, to be called a woman king is very different than being the queen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you really ruling.
People didn't like that neither.
I think when you're a woman king, your dick kind of swing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Metaphorically, you got a dick, and that's the motherfucker is swinging.
And
you got a King Kong dick. Niggas need to watch their tone how they talk to you.
I just thought it sound cool. Woman king.
Okay. Yeah.
What she do to become the woman king? Usually it's the queen.
What do you do to become a
kill motherfuckers?
She got that
right. Like what do you have?
Hey, that shit was crazy.
She stabbed the nigga
and she killed the nigga
with the dagger.
That shit was wild.
And then she just pulled.
It was shorty coming. Like, hey, I'm gonna need you to chill for a second. Picked up the weapon and was like, yeah, I got these niggas. Just chill, relax, take a second.
Yeah, it was great. That was cool. I thought it was just a cool ass movie.
Yeah,
like all these people.
Shout out to the light skinned lover in her in the daughter's life. Everybody need a light skin in their life.
That nigga could have. My biggest critique for the movie is that nigga could have not been in the movie and nothing would have changed. Nothing would have changed. That nigga could have not been in the movie and nothing would have changed.
Well, she would have been on the ship by then if the nigga wasn't.
I'm not gonna hold you. Yeah, sure, for real.
Yeah, but he still could have. No, I feel like they could have just had them show up to save her earlier.
No, he was. But you know why I think he was necessary? Now, flow with me here. I think he was necessary because I think like connecting back, I think he was that piece of like past and present. Do you know what I mean? How they add characters that bring both together. And so I think he melted the shit together. And I also would like to say that I feel like he was, in a weird way, African Americans. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like us going back to the land and be like, yo, I want to see where I'm from. And you discover where you're from and you're like, oh, this is what the fuck, like, this is my roots, and figuring out like, nah, what can I do? That ending scene where he helped them and he was like, yeah, like that split second of like, no, I want to help my people. And I'm sure that he was confused. I think before the trip, he wasn't really sure about who he was. I think being mulatto, black and white is hard for people. And I think that's a different journey to, voyage. So he's dealing with that, and then he's seeing this shit. And he's like, nah, fuck this. This guy's a dickhead. Nigga keep talking to me disrespectfully. You know what? Nah, I'm about to set my niggas free. And it was a little thing he did, but it helped. And it did something. Like, he made his mark almost. So I do think he was essential.
Good point.
Girl, go ahead with that.
Point.
I'm a history major. Don't play with it.
I was gonna, but I thought he was pointless until you said that, until you broke it down. I was like, yo, this light skinned nigga.
Yeah, I mean, it also showed
this Brazilian nigga. He's from Brazil.
Still the racism that he was facing. Like the nigga still had to walk around in the jungle while his homeboy was being carried. That shit had me pissed off.
I think he chose to walk. I think he chose.
No bullshit.
That's
I thought
fair.
I was like, yo, he got killed. He got hurt. The nigga I was with, Romario.
That shit looks so uncomfortable.
Romario was like, he's napping. I thought he was dead or some shit. I didn't know he was like being leisurely carried. Like, it took me a second.
That shit looked uncomfortable. I'd rather walk.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie.
No funny shit.
It looked uncomfortable. The way they was carrying this nigga in the hammock.
Wanted to carry me. I said, hey man, like that.
I wouldn't do it. It just looked uncomfortable.
Not
in that one. Like if it was a real one, like a real good ass 31.
Nah, they shoulders look good. They got
looked uncomfortable.
They strong.
Call me a nigga. Yeah. Ooh. Is this cotton? Oh, I guess it'll do.
Yeah, it was fucked up. I thought it was fucked up because that was supposed to be his best friend since childhood, and he was like, "I'll put you on one of them ships too."
Hey, when he said that shit,
show how
he messed up. He should have known he messed up when he said that. He should have known he messed up.
Yeah,
my man.
That was the point.
I thought it was a good movie, man.